What's going on, everyone? So I want to talk about Brandon Ingram. I know I've talked about Brandon Ingram in the past, but now that we've actually gotten to see him through the first 10 games, kind of evaluate him, obviously a concern with him is his injury history, right? He's another guy that just, he's not giving you more than like 60 games a season, if that. I mean, the most he's ever played in a season was his rookie year at 79. Last year, he played 64 games, but outside of that, it's been 45, 55, 62, 62, 52, 59. So again, giving you about 60 games a season. If he could give you about 65 games a year, that would be great. The reason I don't mind the idea of Brandon Ingram is he's not so expensive that you have to sell the farm to go get him. You probably can get him pretty cheap because the Pelicans just kind of want to get something from him rather than just losing him for nothing in the offseason. And the Pelicans are in trouble, right? They're losing. They just lost Zion Williamson. They lost earlier DeJounte Murray. And chances are this team is at best going to be a play-in team again. Maybe if everyone comes back, maybe if everyone's healthy, right? Maybe they can kind of make a push. But even then, they still lack a center. You don't really trust Zion to stay healthy. Right? You don't really trust Brandon Ingram to stay healthy. And it's just now Brandon Ingram on the Pelicans is going to have to do twice as much because he doesn't have DeJounte Murray, because he doesn't have Zion Williamson. And the reason I don't hate the idea of Brandon Ingram is because, one, he's the kind of player that we need, right? Give you a guy that you can just give the ball to, he can go get you a bucket, play on ball, play off ball, give you some size and some length out on the perimeter, play some defense, right? He's a guy that you can see kind of fit in. He's not, in my opinion, the best fit, right? He's not this super stellar off-ball guy that I talk about regularly, Zach LaVine. One of the best catch-shoot three-point shooters in the league. He's a guy that can play off-ball excellent. Brandon Ingram can play off-ball, but he's not this super efficient, super elite, just catch-shoot three-point shooting guy. He's had seasons, he's had stretches, right, where he's been very good, like top-tier catch-shoot threes, but he's a guy that, can at times kind of go through the roller coaster. But he's a guy that is, one, expiring. So you could look at this two ways. You could look at it as, one, you get him, and if it works, great. You can work out a new contract. I know he wants $40+ million a year. There isn't a team in the league that is going to give him $40+ million a year. If you're the Lakers and he's demanding $40 million, you go, okay, good luck to you, right? Hope for the best. Now, obviously, if you have to give up a bunch of firsts and stuff like that, then yeah, I wouldn't want to do that. But if the Pelicans are hey, we could just use some player, maybe you can get them for a pick swap and a couple players that maybe they find, interesting, or maybe one of the young guys that they're we're just going to kind of just ride out the season, right, and kind of recalibrate next season. I could see them maybe wanting D'Lo just for the sake of he's an expiring contract, right? If you can work something out, my point is if something is there where you're not giving up both first or, an unprotected first or anything like that, then I would at least entertain the deal. It's what are your other options? Literally nobody wanted Brandon Ingram this offseason. You're going to lose him for nothing. Would you rather lose him for nothing? Would you rather get a couple assets in the deal? Right? Even if it's a couple seconds, even if it's 3 seconds, it's better than just losing him, especially if you can still clear off salary space and all that stuff. So you're not oh, well, we don't want to take on a bunch of contracts because now we're stuck long term. No, I mean, if you could work something out, if you could do something that kind of makes sense. Also, Rui might make a lot of sense for the Pelicans just on the fact that Zion is so hit and miss at times, health-wise. So if you have a Rui that can kind of plug in and just give you a guy to kind of spell Zion when he goes out of the game or whatnot. But the other side to look at this is if it doesn't work out, you just let him go, right? You just, hey, good luck to you, right? Or you sign him on a cheaper deal. Again, he's not worth $40+ million, but $25 million a year, I think is fair. Right, and if you can get him for something like that, sign a 4-year, or even if it's a 2-year, $50 million deal, right? Where it's kind of hey, we'll give you 2 years to kind of, so that way if you want to get out, you can get out. If we want to get out, we can get out. And also kind of lines up with Anthony Davis and LeBron. You can kind of see how it plays out, right? You can kind of use the rest of the season as that trial and error period while still maintaining other flexibility to make other trades. Because that's the key. Right? Even if you get Brandon Ingram, I don't think the Lakers are like, that's it, they're the top team in the league, right? But Brandon Ingram, if you can bring him in, right, for say D'Lo, Rui, and I don't know, Jalen Trufino or something like that, right? Or maybe not Jalen Trufino, because there are some other teams that want Jalen Trufino. So let's say, let's say they want even Max Christie or something, right? Like, sure, here you go, right? And we can clear off some rough spots, clear off some salary, right? Like, if you can work it out to where maybe it's a 3-team deal, whatever, right? Point is, if you can get him and still have like Gabe Vincent, right? Maybe Max Christie's contract, Jalen Trufino, have Jared Vanderbilt if need be, especially with the way that Cam Reddish is playing. And if you get a Brandon Ingram, right? Well, now you still can go make other moves. You still go get a Walker Kessler, or sign Valanciunas, or go get a Bruce Brown or something like that. You still have flexibility to make other moves. It's kind of why I'm looking at it, right? Is that kind of the same idea and concept with Zach LaVine, although I still like Zach LaVine better. I just think he'll be a better natural fit. But there is that idea of like Zach LaVine is the long-term salary of Brandon Ingram. If it doesn't work out, or if he can't stay healthy or whatever, you can just kind of let him go. So I look at it as kind of a win-win for the Lakers if it's the right price. Because if it works, great. You keep him, you work it out, right? And you kind of build around Ingram, Anthony Davis, and LeBron James, especially if you can get Brandon Ingram for $25 million or something like that, right? Now you have still flexibility going forward, right? Whenever LeBron rides off into the sunset, you can still go get another guy, whatever, to put around Ingram and 80. If he absolutely won't take less than $40 million, then again, go ahead, good luck. If you can find somebody that's willing to pay you that, tip the hat to you, right? More power to you. Go get your bag, right? But the other side of it is you clear off a bunch of salary space where there's a bunch of free agents that could potentially be available. The reason I say could is because now with the new CBA, teams can negotiate guys early. So, a lot of guys are probably going to stick around and stay. However, a lot of guys may end up being available. And you have his expiring salary, plus LeBron James can restructure his contract. He was willing to take $20 million less to bring in a couple quality pieces. So you may be able to do that. So you could end up having like a ton of cap flexibility. Or again, if Brandon Ingram works, you can keep Ingram. LeBron can still, take the $20 million less or whatever. And now you can build another, kind of fill in the pieces, fill in the gaps. Maybe it's bench depth, maybe whatever. And boom, you're off to the races. Maybe you compete for a championship this year. And if not, then you can really make that push next season, right? It's kind of like this win-win where I do think Brandon Ingram, I do think his abilities is something that the Lakers need, right? Lakers really need that consistent go-to scorer, right? Austin Reeves, D'Angelo Russell, Rui Hachimura on any random night can be that, right? But the problem is you never know which night, and you never know who it's going to be, right? It's like, is Rui going to be the guy that's going to go get you 20, 25 tonight? Is Reeves going to go give you 30? Is D'Lo going to give you 30, right? Like, what's the deal here? Where if you get a guy like a Brandon Ingram, you know every night what you're getting from him. And he's a guy that you can just give the ball to, and he can just go get a bucket and gives you that over-the-top shooting, gives you that rebounding, gives you that playmaking, right? Like even this season, for example, right, you look at Brandon Ingram's numbers. Through 10 games, he's averaging 32 and a half minutes. He is shooting 48.4% from the field. He is shooting 35.4% from three. Again, he's a career 36% three-point shooter, which is why I've said he's not like super lights out. He's not this like excellent guy, but he's more of that mid-range guy, right? So from 2-point range this season on 12.3 attempts, he is shooting 55.3%. He has an EFG of 54.5. Free throw, he's shooting 88.5%. He's also giving you 6 rebounds, 5 assists, a steal, and a little more than half a block will be nice, round up to half a block, and averaging 23 points per game. Right? Like, the Lakers could use that. Lakers could use the rebounding, could use the playmaking, could use the scoring, could use the just the size and the length, and give you some athleticism out on the perimeter, right? Like, Brandon Ingram is a need that the Lakers have. So he fills a need. Again, there are some questions. He's not a guy, I do think the potential's there for him to be an excellent fit, right? I mean, in theory, he should be an excellent fit. But there are some questions about, like, does he quite fit the way we need him to fit? But if it does work, again, great. Right now, Lakers are going to be much better, in my opinion. Now, Austin Reeves gets to be the fourth best guy, right, rather than the third best guy every night. And then Brandon Ingram can defend. And then now, if it was me, I would go look at like a Bruce Brown when he gets healthy. You got to make sure he's good and healthy. But, go look at maybe a Bruce Brown. Go look at, getting a Walker Kessler or a Valanciunas or something like that. Imagine if you could have like Bruce Brown, Austin Reeves, Brandon Ingram, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis, right? Like, let's go, right? That's one of the best starting fives in the league. Now, at that point, I believe you're an NBA champion. And if you could get like a Valanciunas or a Walker Kessler or something like that off the bench with Christian Wood, you'd have a couple roster spots open that you could bring in a couple guys, maybe give Quincy Olivari a look and see if he can provide something, right? Just, I don't hate the idea. Again, it's not something that I would like run to the doors to go do, but he's not going anywhere. Like, teams aren't lining up to go get Brandon Ingram, right? So I do think you're in a point of leverage, but it is something that I'd at least kick the tires on, if I'm being honest. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Do you think, stay away from Brandon Ingram as far as possible? Do you think it's worth at least exploring, giving it a shot, giving it a chance, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are? I'd love to hear it, so let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos. Truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.